Warning, the following audio transmission will forever change your outlook on society. You will no longer believe the narrative. You are about to wake up and see things for what they really are. News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Find us everywhere on social media at Jester Dooms. The website, www.jestersvoice.com. Go there, use that audio feature at the top of the website and send us an audio message. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show and give me your 1 week in real life interaction. Give me that IRL. Anyway, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is March 3rd, Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. I hope you're having a fantastic morning, as am I. You might catch me live today over on the Clapper or the YouTubes. I'll be working in the House Foundation today, as long as I haven't went to check yet, but as long as it's dry enough, okay? We got some overnight precipitation, and I haven't been down to check yet how muddy it is to see if I could even do anything, but if I can, I will be down there doing some worky work. Yeah. But I hope your coffee's hot. I hope your breakfast was good. You know, a breakfast thing I miss from the past, and it does not fall in the realm of my blood type-based diet, so I do not eat these things anymore, nor I haven't seen them around. But when I was a kid in elementary school, we would get these breakfast corn dogs where it was, instead of a hot dog inside the batter, it was a piece of sausage coated in the pancake batter. So it was really nice because you got to dip this right into syrup, and it was the greatest thing ever. And I mean, I could still remember like tasting it and how horrible it was for you. It was all like, nitrates and sodium and disgustingness for your body, but god dang, they were satisfying to eat. Anyway, sometimes when we get on here, I think of these, in the mornings, I think of these random breakfast items from yesteryear. But breakfast has drastically changed from what we knew, right? And I don't know if it's like the healthcare stuff or what, and everybody being more body conscious. But when I was a kid, I don't ever remember people eating avocado. Like, I don't remember avocados existing when I was a kid. And now a lot of people like to have avocado toast for breakfast. And I don't remember that being a thing as a kid. Don't remember that shit. Breakfast considered of bacon, eggs, and toast, or eggs, some sort of breakfast meat and toast. And then maybe something like a pancake or a piece of French toast or something. Now there's all these new breakfast items. There's breakfast bowls. There's breakfast tacos, breakfast burritos, like all these new things that did not exist when I was a young one. Breakfast. And I hope I made you hungry, and I hope you're thinking to yourself now, like, I got to go get some breakfast. I remember when Burger King first came out with breakfast, they had French toast sticks. I don't know if they still do or not, but they were okay. Anyway. So I did meet with the contractor I was talking about yesterday, and he came out and, excuse me, my wife and I had a very in-depth conversation with the gentleman and kind of explained everything it is that we're wanting to do. Gave him the measurements of everything and told him our time frames and things like that. And, he knew better when he got here than to ask me what budget was. I do not like that, ladies and gentlemen. If somebody starts asking me what my budget is, that's an automatic red flag that says I'm probably not going to hire you. Because all that's telling me is you want to know what you can squeeze me for. If I tell you my budget's $50,000, you're going to get as close to $50,000 as you can and probably go over. If I tell you it's $20,000, you're going to do the same thing. So in my eyes, I'm like, nah, we're not giving you our budget. You will give me a reasonable estimate, and I will let you know if it's in my budget once the estimate's said and done with. But I have kind of come to find with some of these contractors, if you throw out a really low budget, they'll say, yeah, we can work with that. And on the back end, what they do is they put in change orders. And then the next thing you know, your $10,000 project is now $25,000 and you're locked in. I've seen people do that shit, and I'm not falling for that one either. No, sir. But it seemed to be an overall good experience of having this contractor come out and, kind of look over everything and kind of explain to him what we want to do, and told the guy, like, listen, man, like, here's the reality. Everything we might want to do might not be affordable right now. Okay. So the reality is like, maybe we do this one thing with you guys now. Maybe we call you back in 6 months and do the other thing. Maybe we call you back a year from now and finish it up. Like, we're working with a set amount, and, we don't want to exhaust funds for one company to come out and do things that are unnecessary that we can do later on down the road when it's more financially feasible, if that makes sense. This build out of this house project we're doing here, I mean, it's in my mind, it doesn't seem like a lot. Like, the actual work that we're doing and what we're going to get when we're all said and done with it doesn't seem like a lot. But when you start factoring up all these costs for every little, thing, it's just like, man, it's going up. 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 And it's not slowing down. So in my eyes, it's like, well, you have a couple different options. Like, option A is you say to yourself, okay, well, this is extremely, it's extremely affordable to go with this one guy, and we'll see how his work is, and if he's good, we'll continue. Or option two you have is you maybe you find that person that you like that like really does good work, and they're going to do a good job, and they got the portfolio to prove it. And you say, okay, that's the guy we want, but we can't afford it right now. Maybe we save up and then we hire that guy later. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of more or less where we're sitting right now. We're in the shopping phase for someone to do the big part of the build out. We're in that shopping phase, trying to see who the best person is to go with, if that makes sense. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back after these messages.
Need a break from reality? Well, sometimes I do too, and the place I go to take that break is the Beans and Weenie Show. You can find the link at linktree.com/BWD crew. The Beans and Weenie Show, where chaos and common sense wage war and you get a front row seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. Over there in the corner, wearing a lovely fire engine red toupee, is the lovely, the talented producer Scooter. How are you doing, producer Scooter? It's weird you're like side-eyeing me from over there. Stop that. It's making me uncomfortable. Don't do that either. No. Keep your shirt on. Okay, good. All right. On the Epic Times, State Department warns Americans to immediately leave most Middle East nations. The U.S. State Department on March 2nd urged any Americans currently in more than a dozen Middle East nations and regions to leave immediately due to serious safety risk as the Iran war continues in its third day. Americans in Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, West Bank, and the Gaza Strip, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, the United Arab Nations, and Yemen should depart now through any available commercial transportation, the U.S. State Department said in a travel security fact sheet updated at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. So, I mean, it's getting hairy over there if they're ordering these type of, if they're putting this out there in the general media that, hey, all you guys that are Americans in all these nations need to get the fuck out of Dodge now. It's telling me they suspect that it's going to escalate. Things will escalate. Maura Namdar, the U.S. Department Assistant Secretary for Consular Affairs, said any American who needs assistance can call the agency 24 hours a day. The number to call from inside the United States or Canada is 1-888-407-4747, while any Americans staying abroad should call 1-202-501-4444. We have no higher priority than the safety and security of Americans, Namdar said in a statement on Saturday. U.S. citizens in any of the affected countries are also instructed to join the U.S. State Department's Smart Travel Enrollment Program for the latest security updates. Travelers can also input their trip so the agency can contact them quickly in the event of an emergency. Early on Monday, the U.S. Embassy in Beirut warned that the security situation in Lebanon had become volatile and unpredictable and urged Americans to avoid traveling there for anyone inside to leave immediately. Beirut Rafik Harir, International airport is still open to commercial flights, but cancellations could happen at any time. Americans are encouraged to check the airport's website for available flights. Okay. So what's really interesting about, being a podcaster and doing these shows is my voice travels all around the world. Okay. It goes all over the place. So it's very interesting because there is some weird offshoot chance that somebody over there may not know what to do and just got that number and they're going to get themselves to safety if they're listening from that region of the world. Isn't that wild? Like, let that sink in. Think about that. My voice is traveling damn near at the speed of light all around the world. It's a crazy thought. To continue on with this, 3 security levels in the U.S. State Department's previous travel security update. The agency placed the affected Middle East nations in 3 categories based on the severity of its safety risk, levels 2, 3, and 4. Americans urged to avoid traveling to Iran, Iraq, or Lebanon for any reason, and anyone still in Iran should shelter in place. U.S. citizens in Iraq should exercise caution, limit movements, and shelter in place as needed, while anyone in Lebanon is instructed to leave via commercial travel, the State Department said. Americans were told to reconsider travel and shelter in place if currently residing in Bahrain, Israel, Kuwait, or Qatar. Those Pakistan should exercise caution and avoid large gatherings in some areas at level 4, along with Iran and Iraq. Egypt, Jordan, Oman, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE were placed in level 2. Exercise increased caution with shelter in place instructions given to Americans everywhere, but not those in Egypt. Yeah. We had actively talked already, have been having conversations in my house if traveling overseas is going to be a good idea this year or not based on this. We're waiting to see what kind of plays out. Whenever things really started popping off with Russia and Ukraine, I was a little bit worried about going to Europe because I'm like, well, if they start fucking around and that sarcophagus that's keeping all the radiation meltdown in Chernobyl gets damaged and starts leaking radiation all over Europe, we're going to be fucked. Had some talks with the father-in-law and it was like, nah, we'll be good. Don't sweat it. But, I packed the IOSat anyway, because just in case, you never know. So I made it a point to, travel with IOSat just for the reason of if something were to happen and we got stuck somewhere for an extended period of time that has had contamination, at least we have the IOSat as a fail-safe. And it's a pill. It takes up nothing in your luggage. So just the idea of like taking that with us is better than the alternative of having nothing and succumbing to radiation poisoning. Yeah, it's not a good time. So anyway, what do you guys think? Thoughts? Let me know. Email me, doomdailyshow@gmail.com, or go to the website, www.jestersvoice.com, and leave me an audio message at the top of the page, because you can do that. And let me know your thoughts. Do you think that people should be sheltering in place? Do you think they should get the fuck out of Dodge when they can? Do you think, fuck it, travel there anyway? Who gives a shit? Like, do you think that this is a bullshit situation that's not going to escalate? Like, what do you think, man? I don't know. I kind of think that we're going to get into a very long endeavor with Iran. And I think there's going to be a lot of bloodshed to come. Mainly because I don't think there's been enough uptick or uproar in the media enough to keep viewers glued to the screen. So I think that the powers to be are going to want this situation to escalate. Plus, I guess the other part of it is we know the amount of oil that's over there, and we're going to talk about that right after the break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Producer Scooter here. First off, thank you for downloading and participating in the wide world of Jester Doom. Please be sure to check out jestersvoice.com website. Everything you want to know is located on jestersvoice.com. If you're looking for salacious details, it's on jestersvoice.com. Don't forget to share the show with your friends and even with all your enemies. And now, back to the musings of Jester Doom.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. The website, jestersvoice.com. Everyone on social media at Jester Dooms. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show. Okay. Now, we've all heard that a lot of the wars that take place that the U.S. gets itself into are all kind of derived around oil. Like that is the catalyst. There's oil there. We're going there to get it. We need it. It's ours. Even though it's not ours, it's ours. And we're going to get that shit. I'm not saying that's why we're at war currently, but I do want to give you guys something to chew on. Iran holds the world's third largest oil reserve. Okay. Think about that. Third largest oil preserve is Iran. All right. So just let that sink in. All right. It's top four OPEC with outputs around 3.3 to 3.5 million barrels per day. Iran holds roughly 12% of the world's oil reserves. So yeah. I mean, a lot's coming out of there. Now, this is the thing when we had talked about, the idea of China getting involved. So approximately 80 to 90% of Iran's oil is shipped to China. It's exported to China. So if we go in there and we start collecting that and taking it for ourselves, what the fuck is China going to do to us? Because if they're getting 80 to 90% of their oil exported, and we cut that off and say, nope, it's ours now. Do you think their leaders are going to let that fly? Because we'd essentially be choking them out is what we'd be doing. All right. So, I mean, it's a pretty, I feel like we're walking a very thin line as far as if we're going to piss off China and get involved. So I don't know. Now, the interesting thing is Iran did sign some contracts in early 2024 valued at over $13 billion to develop domestic oil fields and increase production. $13 billion in contracts, over $13 billion in contracts. So we know that there's oil. We know that it's producing. We know a lot of it's going to China. So I'm just kind of curious what is going to come out of that. Really makes you wonder. Me personally, I do not want to go to war with China. Now, in regards to this, though, since we're on the topic of the oil and what's over there, guys, do understand war times come with increased prices. There's already, I guess you could say, forecasted spikes in our gas pump prices. So we're going to see gas prices increase. We're going to see that. We're going to see that at the pump. So expect that coming into the spring, coming into the summer, we are going to see hikes in gas. And when we have hikes in gas, now this is the thing that's kind of troubling to me. Well, I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. Well, where do I want to go with this? So let's start with this. War times mean higher prices at the pumps. We know this. And then everything else seems to go up with this. And that's a really gigantic problem. Okay. It's a big, big, big problem. I want you guys to really wrap your minds around and understand that everything in this nation, globally, everywhere, every product, pretty much, except for a handful and few and far between, are being moved by internal combustion engines that utilize fuels. Okay? Now, you do have the occasional electronic Amazon truck, like your EV Amazon vehicle bringing stuff around, or you might have your DoorDasher in the Tesla, but for the most part, moving majority, like masses of goods, comes down to combustion engines. And we're going to talk about why that's so bad and what we could potentially expect right after these messages.
Hey, producer Scooter here. And if you've made it this far, I just want to commend you for diligent listening skills. But also, I want you to take a moment, since you've come this far with us, send an email to doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Let us know where you're listening from. If you have any ideas for something you'd like Jester to address or talk about, send us an email. That's doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I'm your host, Jester Dooms. As always, with me is the lovely, the talented producer, Scooter. Just trying to figure out what he's doing over there with that raw onion. Okay, so let's get into this. What can you expect to see with the higher increased cost of fuel and what this could do to the economy and goods? All right, so let's talk about this. Major wars fuck up the U.S. economy. They just do. All right, prices on fuel goes up. Prices on random shit goes up. Helium goes up. Plywood goes up. Building materials go up. Everything goes up, okay? Everything fucking skyrockets. It just does. All right? Now, something to really wrap your mind around and understand about all this is that our economy is on like kind of a tipping point as it is. You have a lot of American citizens out there talking about, they are feeling the effects of the economy going to shit. They're feeling it. They're feeling it. They're feeling it. I got to tell you, we watched prices of goods increased when the pandemic came along, and they didn't go back to normal. And we just accepted our fate, and we kept just progressing forward with these higher prices, and no one's batting an eye to it. Nobody's doing anything to stop it. We are just living with it. Certain things have fluctuated and came back down, like eggs and milk. Like certain things have came back down a little bit. Fuel has went back down. All right. Fuel was at like a standstill, like $1 a gallon in some places, like during the pandemic. Then it went up and down, and now it's crazy. But the reality is that we've been deporting people in the masses, and this is creating job openings, and work isn't getting done. We are pulling truck drivers off the roads. We're doing a lot to harm ourselves, mainly our economy. But it needs to be done. And I kept talking about how we have this like falsely propped up economy. And was it the illegals propping it up? Was it the lack of rules and regulations in different departments that was helping this stay going? Something's not adding up. Okay. But now you're talking about America being on its tipping point with the economy teeter-tottering back and forth. And now, all of a sudden, we could potentially get into this major conflict, get into this, another 10-year war or some crazy-ass shit. All right. And we already know we're expected to see some increases in fuel. And with that comes everything else, because goods have to be transported by combustion engine. Whether they're getting shipped over here from overseas on a plane, whether they're getting, from a farm to your grocery store via 18-wheeler, all these are using fuels. And when fuels go up, the cost of good goes up, right? Because the grocery store is not going to eat the shipping cost. Like if that shit costs more to get delivered, you're going to see the prices change on that product. And I think that's a very dangerous thing right now in this economy, based on the fact that it is kind of falling apart. It is kind of shitty. Your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to, and we're all seeing the effects of this. We're all watching our paychecks disappear. I had someone tell me a few years back that the $100 bill was the new 20 because that's how quickly you're going through money now. Like we burn through hundreds like we used to burn through 20s. And I could tell you what, I find myself doing this. Like I find myself spending way more at the grocery store, way more just to go to a big box store. Like everything is costing so much more. I remember, when my wife and I first got together, and it was just her and I, and it was like, all right, we got $100 to spend on groceries for the week, and we would do a pretty damn good job, and we would eat pretty good, and this would leave us money left over to go, do some other things, like $100 grocery budget for the week. Okay, we're good. Now it's like $250, $300. You're just getting by, man. And I don't know what the fuck happened. And the thing that's crazy is we're not seeing like big hikes in salaries. We're not seeing big hikes with assistants. We're not seeing these things. So it doesn't make any logical sense of how people are still going and moving forward. Like I can't wrap my mind around how that's happening. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. All right. So now you're in the situation where everything is forecasted to go up. And when that does, what are we going to see? Now, part of me has been thinking for years, we need a big ass reset. We need a great big fucking reset that tells people, hey, let's not spend money on useless shit anymore so the price of useless shit can go back fucking down, right? Like, I can't wrap my mind around why people are paying $3 for a fucking 2 liter of soda. I can't wrap my mind around why we're paying $1.99 for a gallon of water that all that long ago was like 65, 70 cents for a gallon of water. It's fucking water, right? And I'm watching all these prices drastically increase, and now you've got this on top of it. I look for us to be in the shitter very soon here. Now, I'm no economical expert. I'm no financial expert. I am not. All I could say is, like, I've kept an eye on things over the years. Within my lifetime, I've watched things changed, and I've seen trends take place and happen. Okay. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've watched things drastically change after 9/11 and fuel being $5 a gallon. I've watched shortages on things like plywood and concrete during war times. Like, I've seen these things. Okay. I've seen, like, talks of gun bans and no ammo on the shelves, and the cost of an AK going through the roof, the cost of an AR-15 going through the roof, the cost of ammunition going through the roof, if you could find it. And I look for certain things to become very, very scarce very quickly. Not to mention the fraud that has been being uncovered in different government agencies and different things happening, and, certain government agencies continuously failing audits, and Americans being sick and fed up and not wanting to pay these bullshit taxes anymore and struggling just to get by every day. Now you're going to tell them the milk for their children is going to cost more. You're going to tell them the gas to get their kids back and forth to school or soccer practice or whatever the hell they got going on is going to cost them more, when everybody has been scraping by and is at their breaking point already. Do you think this is going to end well? Do you think we're all going to come out on top? I'm one that likes to see the silver lining in things and hope for the best. So here's old Doom's thoughts. I hope, personally, that this economy does fall the fuck out. And I hope when it does, people have to make real changes and have to make drastic financial decisions that change them for the better. Don't buy the fucking Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, and Pepsi whenever you can get free water from the fucking tap. Don't be shoving Pop-Tarts down your kids' throats and give them something better to eat that you have to physically cook for them. All right? If these little shits are saying, I want to go to the store because I want this, this, and this, you tell them no. Teach those fuckers some restraint. It's really funny. I'm watching this new generation be raised completely reliant, riding the coattails of their parents, and can't fend for themselves. And they're the ones that the future generation has to look up to. So maybe this will be the thing. Maybe this will be the hard times that breed some strength back into Americans, put some fight back in people, makes them appreciate what they have and not take things for granted. Anyway, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. If you guys would like, share, and subscribe, Producer Scooter, thank you for everything that you do, and we will be back here again tomorrow for another exciting episode of the Doom Daily Show. Have a great day, everybody.
News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.